The Bengals beat the Giants on Sunday night to improve to 2-4 on the season. It's time for our winners and our losers following a 17-7 victory on Sunday Night Football. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and today's video brought to you by BetUS. More on BetUS in just a second. Let's get to our winners and losers. This Bengals team, they found a way to win, and they get to 2-4 on the year. They win on the road for the second straight time. They're 2-1 on the road now, and they go on the road again this week in Cleveland. So we'll see if they can get it to 3-1 on the road. But this Bengals team desperately needed a win. They got to win. Let's get to our winners and losers. And winner number one is the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense performed at such a high level for most of this game. They forced 4 punts, 2 turnovers on downs, 1 interception. Daniel Jones clearly missing Malik Neighbors, but the Bengals took advantage of it and played at a really high level. Their best game of the season. They held the Giants to 7 points, which is the fewest allowed in the Zach Taylor era, going all the way back to 2019 during his first win when they beat the Jets in 2019. So when they scored 6, the Jets scored 6 that game. The Giants scored 7. Obviously, had a couple missed field goals in there. Whatever, doesn't matter. The fact that you hold them to 7 points, huge win for this defense. So that's winner number one, the entire defense. After that, I think it's Hill and Hendrickson. BJ Hill and Trey Hendrickson, also winners in this game. You look at what BJ Hill did, and 7 tackles. That alone, you're like, heck yeah, give me that all day long. But it wasn't just that. He was able to affect the quarterback, had 2 quarterback hits, had 2 passes defensed. Obviously was the catalyst, the guy who caused the interception on Daniel Jones in the red zone. And it wasn't just him. Trey Hendrickson all over the field, 2 quarterback hits, or 3 quarterback hits. I'm selling you short, Trey. Don't let me do that. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. They easily get into the winner column. And then a couple more winners here. And DJ Turner, the second, rebounded from that penalty to make the play of the day, or one of the plays of the day, 4th and 3, to get his arm out there and knock the ball away. It was just a huge play in a big moment. So DJ Turner makes our winner circle, as does Ryan Rico and Tyson Anderson. I think Ryan Rico, it was just awesome. I mean, 6 punts, 278 yards, averaged over 46 yards per punt, had a long of 57. 4 of his 6 punts were inside the 20, had a 5th that almost was, and Tyson Anderson was tracking it and couldn't find it in the air in time to get it or to stop it before it went into the end zone. And by the way, the Rico Anderson connection, this is a couple of weeks now where Rico booms it, Anderson runs, makes a play on the returner. And that's exactly what you want. That's exactly, if you're Darren Simmons, what you're looking for. So Tyson Anderson and Ryan Rico, welcome to the winner's circle. The losers, well, we're going to get to the losers coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you get in on the action today with BetUS right now. You go to betus.com, use code YouTube150, and you will get the 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000 right now. And then on that second deposit and third deposit, you'll get a 125% deposit bonus up to $2,000. So whether you're looking at point spreads like the Bengals, who are favored in week 7 over the Browns, whether you're looking at same game parlays, player props, BetUS has you covered. So check them out today at betus.com. Use code YouTube150 for a 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000. Again, that's code YouTube150. All right, let's get to the losers. And quite frankly, this is the downside of doing winners and losers, is I think that this team came together and found a way to win a tough game on the road where things weren't going their way throughout, right? That offensively, they just couldn't get it going. This defense going into that game was struggling, but they found a way to win. And so they deserve a lot of credit for that. And at the same time, there are some guys that struggled. And I'm just looking here. The one that struggled, I would say the most, and they really couldn't get the ground game going. I mean, Chase Brown had, before that 30-yard run, 9 carries for 23 yards. Zach Moss, 6 carries for 13 yards. The Bengals run game was a loser. And mostly you look at it, they could have had 2 fumbles that would have really cost them. The Zach Moss fumble cost them points. Chase Brown's could have really cost them. Obviously, Chase's went out of bounds, and then he runs for a 30-yard touchdown, and everything works out, and you look up, and Joe Burrow runs for 55 yards along with 47. I don't really include that in this, obviously, the Burrow run, because it was such a big play. I get it. At the same time, the run game is all of those other plays. And so you're looking at 15 carries the Bengals had for 36 yards before that 30-yard touchdown by Chase Brown. They could not get the ground game going. So the Bengals run game is certainly one of them. Outside of that, I thought that they played at a pretty darn high level. I did. Like this offensive line had a really tough task ahead of it. And so Cordell Volson, he gets called for the holding penalty. I didn't really like the call, but fine, you get called for the holding penalty. I could put him on here, but it doesn't seem like that makes sense. I could put any of the offensive linemen because they all lost. They all gave up plays because they're going up against a really good front. Joe Burrow, heck, he probably thinks he should be on here. I'm not going to put a quarterback that goes 19 of 28, completes 68% of his passes, doesn't turn the ball over, and runs for a 47-yard touchdown on the losers list, even though he was pretty upset about his performance. And you can check out the post-game video. So I would say the Bengals rushing attack, and then the other, and it's of course on offense. It's just how inconsistent they were. They're inconsistent on offense. They could never get into a rhythm. And that goes, I think it starts with Joe and Zach all the way down. Offensive line, running game, these wide receivers, outside of T and Jamar, up until that final play to Andre Yosavash, the 29-yarder, none of these other guys were making big plays. Yoshi didn't, Chase Brown didn't, Eric All didn't, Zach Moss didn't. And that's the other thing. Only 6 guys with targets. So that is not normal for the Bengals. That is not normal at all. Usually Mike Gesicki's in there. Usually a Drew Sample's in there. Usually we're talking about 8, 9 guys getting targeted on the first couple drives, it seems like, with this team. But on Sunday, that was not the case. Higgins, Chase, Yosavash, Brown, All, and Moss all caught a pass, all targeted. But that's it. Chase and Higgins had 12 of the 19 completions. 12 of them went to Chase and Higgins led the way with 7 catches for 77 yards. So just the inconsistency on offense is the other element to this. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all of the Bengals fans that already subscribe. The Bengals are 2-4. They're trying to get an inch back closer to 500. We're going to have you covered all week long ahead of Sunday's matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Until then, for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.